I would set the scene, but my body's defence mechanisms have almost wiped that clean. I couldn't tell you where we'd been, only that I was 16 and what ensued was unforeseen, at least to me, but he was a well-oiled machine. It's dark. Exhaust fumes burn the air and the car is in park. I'm unaware he's about to leave his first mark. The warning lights weren't on. How was I meant to know there was about to be a problem, let alone a big one? To me, the fact a guy showed any interest was a phenomenon. He didn't care about me. How I took my tea, that my least favourite soup was minestrone, whether I enjoyed swimming in the sea or any information about my family tree. He didn't care what I wanted to be, that I had aspirations and dreams, or even how my day at school had been. He only cared what he could get for free as he fumbled around with the buttons on his jeans. It wasn't locked. I could have got out and ran or let out a shout, but I sat and barely entertained my doubt because it was too early to cause a fallout. It didn't matter if to my religion I was devout because it knew it wasn't within my character to act out and that it wasn't something that I was going to talk about, maybe.
This takes work. Some of my favourite poets, Leslie and Christine together. It's like Xanadu. It's just that, and all the way from Donny, Kate, and my dear friend. I once, when I first met Jemima, it was in Kettering, Ring Your Tongue. She absolutely blew me away. And I just got up like and followed her. Then I realised I was in the ladies' toilets. Part of my charity for Say It Louder now for numerous years, 3 or 4 years, and that's basically doing with domestic abuse with African Caribbean women. They were in Parliament today, so I'm really chuffed about that.
We have her here tonight, Leslie Constable, ladies.
When I speak to you, and I speak softly, I have something to say. When you shout, if it gets to that point, that place, in that moment when you scream, the subtlety of meaning, what you mean to say is lost and cannot be recovered.
Drink? After the day I've had? Absolutely. I haven't had that kind of day. But you don't need to know that. This small talk is only in the way. If dignity came served in a tumbler over ice with a slice and tasted like Kraken, you brought rum? Sweet, then I would drink it neat. But my dignity slips away as seamlessly as the liquor wanders astray into my bloodstream. You're ready to play. I spent just enough time making myself look fine, just enough effort to look hot, plus a little extra effort to make it look like I haven't had to make the effort to look this hot.
She exudes passion and energy. Her love of people and words is boundless. And she also has a website which is www.kezabel.co.uk. Graham, did you write that down?
So powerful, so powerful.
Thank you, Kez.
I've enjoyed it all, I love it here. I was voted the Bard of Northampton last September, so the rules are that you say, "All hail the Bard."
All hail the Bard!
Yeah, you Bard. So it's all started in the 1920s when Gillette made the first disposable razor blade, and they made a lot of money. They thought, hang on a minute, missing a trick here. They did this great big advertising campaign in America saying in Europe it's all fashioned to be smooth, and their sales went up and they made a lot of money. That's how it all started. So I wrote this poem called Retro Afro Muff. To follow the trend of shaven and shorn, to wax a thatch and match the look led by porn. Tweezers pluck, contraptions remove, lady razors, creams and waxy strips. How strange this prepubescent look is required for her feminine genital bits. Slippy, slidey, pink temptress, smooth runway strip. The next day, itchy, scratchy, stubbly, Velcro grip.
You craved his attention. But not that kind. The anaesthesia of manipulation numbing your mind. Lights were on and someone home, but dimmed, so the control was hard to find. An exit with a code to crack left you confined. When reality becomes something you've only ever encountered in fiction, how do you cope? It's like hitting black ice knowing you can't stop the slide with nothing to hold on to but hope, and things like this don't happen to people like you, so this can't be your slippery slope, except they do. And it did. So let's try and navigate this crossroad. The naivety being weakness even though you were a child, the questioning his affection because afterwards he smiled.
I bet you're curious to know what a business poet is, aren't you? I was the first one on LinkedIn to use that business title because I made it up. And if you're interested in seeing poetry on LinkedIn, follow me. It's not your normal social media where poets rock out, but that's where I am. Call the poet! How often have we heard it, especially in the workplace, when there's been a crisis in our creativity or a gap in our imagination? We need to do things differently. There's been an emergency. We don't know how to do it. Call the poet. But what does the business poet do? Oh, I'm pleased you asked. Let me enlighten you with a perfectly positioned haiku. Feelings flow freely, experience grows value, everyone prospers.
You're not going to hell. You're going through it right now. Yes, you said no, and no, you didn't ask for it before you opened your mouth. No should have been enough first time, let alone second or third, and regardless of no, your silence should have been heard. It was not your fault that silence he preferred, and when you tried to relax so that the pain would be deterred, that was not you trusting his every word, that was brave. It did not mean you'd caved because you wanted to get out unscathed, and if he's done the same to someone else, you aren't responsible for how he behaves just because you tried to love someone who needs more than what love can do. Just because you saw him as human despite his inhumane view, don't condemn yourself for being gullible when he spoke fluent blackmail like truth.
If through finding your voice they lose theirs, you have not found your voice. If through making your choice they lose theirs, you have made the wrong choice. And if by claiming your power they remain powerless, are you really strong?
His name is hair tucked in. It's crossing the road, it's taking a fake call. His name is pulling over, asking her for directions instead of the man ahead who's built and 6'2" tall. His name is following her around the stall. It's brushing past, it's touching the small of her back. His name is staring at her. It's waiting for her, it's look at the rack on that. His name is 999, already dialed. It's stripping her of independence. His name is keys in between her knuckles. His name is a never-ending presence. His name is avoiding public transport. It's leaving a night out before it's done. His name is dictating her skirt is too short. It's a change of shoes that make it easier to run. His name is hiding in the crowd, behind buildings, bins and cars. His name is pressed up against her. It's using code words at the bar. His name is continuing to ask questions even though he hears no answer. His name is turning innocent sentences provocative and labelling it as banter. His name is texting when she gets home. It's walking clear of alleyways and ditches. His name is catcalling and dog whistles, but we're not pussies and we're not bitches. His name is pepper spray. It's a rape alarm. It's impacting her mental health. His name is triple checking a taxi number plate. His name is her not leaving her house.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a night. Can we hear it for our full acts, please? Can we hear it for Kate, Isabel, Jemima, Leslie, and those Thursday British, one word, Christine. Let's see if our open mic is.